As Nina said, you know, this Darfur issue is the reason why we started our organization. Because we feel that we have a responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to our entire humanity. It is particularly telling that we are here today as part of Holocaust Awareness Week, where we happen to believe that what is going on in Darfur is in many ways a genocide. Where you have children, girls as young as 5, 6 years old being raped by 6, 7 adult men, men being killed and women being constantly and repeatedly raped and being called slaves because they are black. It goes back to the fact that the dominant forces in Sudan come from the mixing of Arabs and Africans, and then of course the victims of this situation are the indigenous Africans. So they are now bearing the brunt of the Arab Africans who see the black Africans as inferior. This is the ulterior motive for the genocide. This is why it's happening. This is also why the Arab governments and the Arab League in particular has been very quiet about speaking out on this issue, because they have clearly taken sides and they've decided not to expose the atrocities that is going on against the black people. Globally, as well as within the UN family, China is also the biggest beneficiary of the oil that the Sudan produces. As a matter of fact, China owns most of the oil production plants within Darfur itself. And because of the Chinese need for the constant supply of oil, the Chinese government has constantly protected the Sudan and has threatened to veto any attempts to punish or even to sanction the Sudan by the UN. Activists like ourselves have decided that if the UN is not going to do it because of China, and if China is not going to do the right thing by calling on its friend the Sudan to stop the killing and the rape, then we were going to label the Olympic Games the Genocide Olympics as a way to gain China's attention and to let China know that it cannot be a rising superpower and the host of the Summer Olympic Games on the one hand, and on the other hand, by proxy sponsoring a genocide in Sudan. Because all the money that the Sudan government gets from China and the arms that the Chinese government is providing for the Sudanese government is using to kill the people of Darfur. Russia is the second biggest ally of China, also benefits from the oil, and also sells a lot of arms and ammunition to Sudan. And so Russia also refuses to support any meaningful resolution seeking to punish the Sudan. All of these, member nations of the UN Security Council with their ulterior motives and their economic interests, which they preside and lift above the fundamental rights of human beings. So it's clearly a very hypocritical situation that goes around.
So what's the U.S. interest?
The U.S. interest, as far as we know now, seems to be genuine, but we cannot trust them because we don't know whether they have an ulterior motive. This is why we are asking countries like Canada that have a much more fair global reputation and is well respected, and moderate countries like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, to get involved and lead the advocacy to bring about stability and to resolve the conflict. We cannot trust the US, we cannot trust China, we cannot trust Russia. So this is the dilemma that we have. And yet countries like Canada, under Stephen Harper, they are not stepping up to the plate.
Stephen Harper did a free trade agreement in Colombia, so what about Africa?
Exactly. He barely has no interest in Africa. I mean, I could cry. This is so sad. This situation is just so sad. Very sad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Im Januar 40 bin ich